So today we have, as per our plan, we have to be solving the process-based thing. And for process, I know that you have already forgotten the process. What was the process? So just to revise it, I have opened the topic of project life cycle. What is life cycle? So you can actually reimagine what we have discussed, and you can see the diagram. Actually, I got these slides for CAPM, which is earlier than PMP. So they explain in a very foundational way. So I thought to explain, I was thinking to explain on the whiteboard, but I felt this was quite interactive. So that's why I opened up the slides. So what is a life cycle? We know that everything has to go through from idea, right? If we have the definition of product life cycle from idea or from concept to operation and then to phase out. How many of you remember these three words from concept or idea to operation to phase out? That's what we call it life cycle. Everything in this nature has a life cycle, whether it's a product, whether it's a project. So first we have seedlings, which is we are starting, and then it becomes a full operational tree. And there is a life of this tree. After that, it has to follow. So we should be ready to plant more trees before we finish the current ones. So that's the concept of life cycle. In terms of animals also, everyone have to go through their life cycles, and which we have seen in our science books, that everyone goes or evolves around different levels of evolution. And ultimately, we have to do different activities at different stages to sustain it accordingly. So if we visualize the project life cycle, we have the same aspire. From aspiration, we have business case. From business case, we have the charter. From the charter, we prepare the project management plan. And then we execute the plan based upon predictive or adaptive approaches. And ultimately, we'll be monitoring and controlling from start till end the execution of the project. And once all the work is finished, then we'll be closing the project. So that is what the life cycle of the project. That's what we do in our real life. These are the phases of the project, right? Aspire. Aspire means you have set the new strategy, and business analysts have prepared the feasibility study, gap analysis, need assessment they have performed, and they are able to produce the business case and benefits management plan. And once a sponsor is hired, we have to have the create charter. Charter is prepared by the sponsor and signed by the sponsor. And once we prepare the plan, it has to be approved again by the sponsor. Once approved, we will execute it. And while executing, we will monitor and control our performances for any variance, variations, rebaselining, changes, corrective actions, preventive actions, defect repair actions, or updating the baselines. All will be done in the monitoring and controlling, and ultimately we'll be closing the project. Once we are working with these phases to make sure we are spending in the right way, our business viability still exists. We always have to deploy phase gate. In predictive, we deploy the phase gate. What is phase gate? It's a point where we check the business viability of the project, that is it okay to go further, or shall we terminate the project now, or should we modify the requirements or scope of work so we can actually achieve the value from the project. Benefits can be realized or they can be easily realized, or the benefits they were expecting, they can be easily realized by always aligning to the strategic objectives of the organizations. So phase gates, we use which document at the time of phase gate to review our performances? Anyone of you remember? You can put it on the chat window. At what documents we need at the time of phase gate to review our performances? Anyone of you? What documents we need to have the phase gate review? Anyone of you remembered or no? when we are reviewing the phase gate, we are reviewing with the help of business case, benefits management plan, and project charter. Every time we close the phase, we have to perform the same closure. We call it administrative closure, where we have to make the transition if it is the incremental delivery, or we have to get the approval of the deliverables before moving ahead to the next deliverable. So at every phase gate, we use business case, benefits management plan, and project charter to review the business viability of the project. And this will be done with the help of a steering committee, or it could be the change control board who will be looking ahead that are we spending in the right directions or not. And you said, what is phase? Phase is actually the collection of activities which will give you the deliverable. So a phase gate is a point for deciding whether a project should be continued or terminated. Now we have the next topic, which is what's the difference between a project phase and a project life cycle. So I just gave you the explanation of phase. Phase is the collection of activities. Phase is the collection of activities which will provide you a deliverable. And what is project life cycle? Any one of you remember what is project life cycle? Any one of you have remembered what is project life cycle? None of you remember project life. You can put it on the chat window. And I don't see any messages of you guys on the chat window. Project life cycle is collection of phases. Collection of phases you need to complete the project. The number of phases you need to complete the project is called as project life cycle. So the total number of phase you will have it will be called as project life cycle. So all of the project will have the similar number of phases. They will never be having the same number of phases, right? So if you want to distinguish between project and product, so product is what you are going to deliver. And product life cycle is the same three words from concept to operation to phase out. From concept or idea to operation to phase out. So for that, we have development approaches, which goes around. We have to set the life cycle, that which life cycle we are going. We have to use the cadence. What was the cadence? I explained in quite a lot of details. What was that thing? Anyone of you remember cadence? Cadence was the durations which you set for the project, which means that it will be 2 weeks iteration. We will do the review meeting. What will be the size of the team? All these things you will set it before starting the project. So when we are working, we need to understand what are the requirements, what type of requirements. So based upon the business and stakeholder values, how they will be delivered one time or incrementally, we will choose the development approaches and cadence. When it comes to development approaches, so if the requirements are very clear, we use predictive. If there is huge uncertainty, then we use adaptive. And if we have half requirements known, or we have some requirements known as upfront, and some of them are not clear, then we use hybrid approaches. So predictive, fully available. Adaptive, not available. And hybrid, partially available. So we will determine which type of approach we'll be using for the projects. In terms of approaches, we will go with the start to finish with the well ahead plan that which phase we will start, which two phases we can do together. So we can do overlapping relationship of phases. If we don't need the incremental output, we can use it at one time. Or if we use incremental output, we can do after every phase. But For the predictive, you need to have what? Upfront planning, well-defined and stable scope, schedule, cost. So it's better to have the predictive life cycle. For example, in construction projects, this is the whole picture of construction project. If you are doing the construction project and predictive life cycle, you will go phase by phase and you are not coming back. If you look, you are not coming back. You keep going, you keep going, you keep going, and you are never coming back. And ultimately, you will die. And you were able to do so because you already have what? All upfront requirements. If you don't have, then we cannot do it. You already know the deliverable, you know everything. We have been doing these type of projects many times. In terms of adaptive approaches, we use it when you want to repeat the project phases, you want to collect the customer feedback. Best use when the requirements are not very well known at upfront, and every time we'll be going through the changes. So we will collect the frequent user feedback to produce the deliverable. Sometimes we can even replace it that before they said we will do like this, later on they change the requirements. So in that case, we'll be going through with the program requirements that what type of project we are going to deliver. So if I say in terms of adaptive development approaches, the examples are, as I said, they are most commonly used in the IT-based projects. So what happens? We have feasibility, we are going another phase, then gathering requirement, design and build, review prototype, and we will continue through this. So it can be what? Iterative or incremental or agile type of life cycle, which we can use it in adaptive or these methodologies. So we can keep a loop until we get the correct requirements. And that's what I used to tell you guys that if you want to use agile in construction, so if you're going to build something new which does not exist, so we can do agile part in planning stage. So we can make our construction phase more better. So once the requirements are clarified, so ultimately we'll be able to do that. Then once it's approved, then we'll go for the detailed design. We'll go do coding, testing, integration, and they will be all our repeated phase, which we can go back and change, go back and change, go back and change. And ultimately we'll be able to deploy once the final product is ready. So it's better to use an adaptive life cycle when you don't know the cycle. And this is normally applicable in soft or in soft projects. Soft project means IT projects, excursion projects, could be festival projects, event. Nowadays, there are so many events happening in Saudi Arabia also. So for event-based things, we can do the adaptive life cycle. And the third one is what we have hybrid life cycle. It's a combination of both predictive life cycle. It's used when some of the requirements are upfront and not all the requirements are available. So we use both predictive and adaptive as possible. So these are the examples for hybrid life cycle of three different situations. So if you look, hybrid is what? You have the concept, then you will make the recipe, then you will cook it, you will taste it, and you will update your recipe, and ultimately you will close it. If you want to rent a kitchen, so you can go hire chef, train them, try, test, train, try, test, and ultimately you will close the kitchen. If you goes further, so you can go like this, that some part of the project is being done in predictive. You are not coming back, you are going in the single direction. So some part of the project could be in iterative, some part of the project could be in incremental, and some part of the project in predictive. That's how we can deliver the value. Now, my question is that what you guys remember that if I am saying in terms of project life cycle, so in predictive life cycle, which document we need to start the project? What is the name of the document? And in adaptive, what is the name of the document? And in hybrid, what is the document we need to start the project? Please message it on the chat window so I can check your answers. Okay, Mustafa, next. So first one is, yes, I agree. What is the second one? What document you need to start the project? In predictive life cycle, we have what? Project charter. In adaptive, we have what? Vision statement. And hybrid also starts with the charter. And this document is used, we will find a keyword that this document is used for shared understanding. If there is a situation that stakeholders are saying, we don't know why we are doing the project, what values we are going to achieve. So you will communicate them the project charter that, guys, this is the reason why we are doing the project. So it is used for shared understanding. So if you find a word shared understanding in the question, find the answer with the word project charter. In predictive, sponsor create the project charter. Project manager can assist sponsor. In vision statement, sponsor prepare the vision statement, but accompanied by the product owner. And in hybrid, same sponsor to project manager. If you remember these facts, your answer will never be incorrect. So I hope that it could be a good revision for you guys, that you can remember the project life cycles and methodologies. Now let's go back and solve some questions so we can clarify our concept further. Let me see what you have on the screen now. Yeah, now we have questions on the screen. Let me get him like this. So, question of the day today. Keep your hands on the chat window so you can answer it. A PM is assigned to a multi-year project. During execution, the customer delegates a new representative who contacts the PM directly with a concern about their participation in a status meeting. The representative wants to contact team members directly. What should the project manager do next? Representative want to contact the team directly. What you will do next? Meet with the sponsor to discuss how to incorporate the new representative in the project. Send a new representative the approved project management and communication management plan. Meet with the new representative to determine their understanding of the project and address their concerns. Reach out to customer directly for assistance in incorporating the new representative into the project management plan. What do you think is the better answer? As and yes, Mustafa, no. Mustafa, we have discussed that we will not use the push communications. Falza, same goes for you. If someone comes to you, I need this, so give them. Why you are saying go there, you will find it there. I think I explained this concept yesterday also. If someone is coming to you, give it to them. Don't send them here and there. So that's why this is what you are using push communication. You are forwarding them to somewhere else. So it can never be the correct answer. And they have hired you, so you should handle it. Why you are going to their participation? So yes, in this option, those who have answered C, that's the correct answer. That you need to understand the requirements. Team will not. You have, if you need, then you can ask the team members, but you will not let the people go directly to the team. You are the project manager, you have the technical background, you will choose what to do. Not someone will try to influence you from outside of the project. Whatever, it's a customer sponsor, talk to me. I'm the project manager. What you need. If I need someone, I will call by myself that to whom I need to convey. But if this person will go to the team directly, what can happen in the project? Gold plating or scope creep? If you will allow this, what will happen? Gold plating happen or scope creep will happen? Exactly. If you will allow this, scope creep will happen. So to avoid that thing, you have to manage the governance and you have to not let anyone go directly to the team because they will start influencing and producing the requirements. Great. In a frequently changing project, the PM discovers a customer requirement change during a daily meeting. What should the project manager do? Tell the customer that the changes will be put into the next project phase if management approve. Management approve the changes. Don't run, stay with me. What I'm asking, just stay with him. I'll keep guiding further. Management approve the change. And if you're saying no, then who approved the change? How team can approve the change? Change control board can approve the change, or if it is the uh, sponsor directly, they can approve the change, not the team. Give the change to the Scrum Master to investigate how much additional efforts the change will require. Escalate to management for approval. So management has nothing to do. I don't know what is written. I will not go further. I found my word. This is incorrect. So I will not go further. So I have already eliminated A and C. D, validate the requirement change with the product owner and development team before redefining the scope. So which you think is better answer, B or D? Exactly. All of those who have answered, your answers are correct. Who will perform this work? How much additional effort the change will require? Who will do this task? Whose responsibility it is? Team decide the work by themselves. Team estimate the work by themselves. It's the task of the team in adaptive project management. Team will do this, not product owner. Product owner will just bring the work. Estimations will be done by the team. Product owner can prioritize it, not estimate it. Estimation is the task of the team, not even the project manager or the team. So yes, those who answered D, D is actually the correct answer. Validate the change with the product owner because product owner will verify that this change is needed or not. A mandatory compliance requirement that will impact the project software is introduced during the execution phase of an iterative project. The team is aware of the compliance requirement. What should the project manager do next? Escalate the issue of project impact to the product owner. Update the stakeholder register to include the requirement owner. Update the product backlog item. Can project manager update the product backlog? Great. Can we escalate the project issues to sponsor directly? Exactly. No. And so C and D are out of our league. And we have already discussed update the stakeholder register. Is there someone called as requirement owner? There's no person called as requirement owner. There is no person called as requirement owner. We have product owner. So A is the better answer than these. Escalate the issues of project impact to the product owner because your boss as a project manager is product owner and adaptive project manager. And here we have the team members. Escalate seems direct action. Yes, true. You are saying correct. But do you have any other choice here? Because we have already eliminated, there is no one called as requirement owner. A project manager cannot do that. And you cannot talk to the sponsor directly. Who can talk to the sponsor directly? Product owner. So when it's not in your protocol, you will not follow these things. So that's how you can eliminate. Sometimes you will feel that it's not feeling good logically, but from the available option, this is the only correct answer. Otherwise, all three are directly eliminated because of their words inside. A PM is leading a project Project is part of a strategic program and the first to use an agile approach. One of the board member is interested in attending a meeting to see how the delivery of a scope is progressing. What should the project lead do? Invite the board member to the next daily stand-up, invite the board member to the next sprint review, invite the board member to the sprint retrospect, or invite the board member to a separate demo. What he what the new team member wants to know, how the scope is progressing, where we check that how much we have achieved, where we have checked that what we have achieved in the we check how much scope we have achieved in the review meeting. Why you guys are answering wrong? In retrospect meeting, it's continuous improvement and lesson learned. It's not project scope. And stand up is for the progress of work, not scope. Progress of the iteration, not progress of the project. So in review meeting, you will check the progress that how many deliverables are released, what are pending, and so on. So it's better to invite them in the review meeting because daily stand-up meeting is 15 minutes. What this guy will learn in 15 minutes? Problems, impediments, obstacles, no benefit. So the correct answer is B. And if you are saying separate, it never happens. You will never have enough time to have a separate meeting with someone. Okay, it's from the board, but don't try to make him the boss directly. He is the boss. Leave him in the office and invite him appropriately. Doing the thing separately, you are already in a constrained timeline. These separate things are public demands. We cannot fulfill the public demands in the project. In real life, we do a lot, but by project management, no. An experienced project manager is leading a team, but realizes the team lacks the experience to complete a job successfully. So, this is what impediment, obstacle, or blocker. Don't try to run ahead. Answer this only. Impediment, obstacle, or blocker. Team lacks the experience to complete the job. Impediments about agreements. Don't answer the question. Answer the question what I am asking. What is it? Impediment, obstacle, or blocker? Impediment is teams are not agreeing. Obstacles are your work is stopped. Blockers are you are waiting for an external dependency. So it's actually what? Obstacle. So what is the task of the project manager in agile project management? That project manager has to facilitate the team and remove any impediments, obstacles, and blockers out of the way of team. So ask the sponsor to add experience. Will you do this in any? Can you do this in any predictive or adaptive? Can you ask the sponsor to add resources? It's the task of PM, right? You will go to PM. Assign a dedicated resource to check the quality of each deliverable. Because of this word, I will not keep it, but let's see. Approve the appropriate training program for the team members or provide team members with the necessary coaching and mentoring. So we have a great type B, so cannot be the answer. Remaining answers are C and D. Which one you think is better answer? Your boss approved you the project management training, but how will we make sure that you get it? So by just approving your part will not finish. You have to provide them the training by just approving, right? We have a lot of MOUs. We will invest in your country, but it never happens. So approvals doesn't matter. What matter is you take actions, provide what is needed. So you can resolve the obstacles and blockers. So D is actually the correct answer. A multicultural team is working on a project. After a few months of observations, the PM realizes that the two team members are not responding to the construction managers properly. The PM spoke to the team members individually, what he or she should do. So, and found that both have cultural differences with the construction manager. What should the project manager do to improve the situation? Ask the team member to tolerate. Discuss the team member concerns with the construction manager and seek solution. Ask the construction manager. Asks the construction manager, which means you are sending them, go and talk to them directly. So it's like someone is already having a fight and now they are disconnected, but you are pushing them back. Go back and discuss by yourself. Provide the construction manager with instructions how to resolve. Someone is coming to you and you are sending it to someone else. Never do that. I have been repeating my statement several times. If someone is coming to you, entertain them. Don't send them to any other place. Whatever they need, provide it. So C and D, in any situation, this type of meanings in any situation will never be the correct answer. Yes, Masusa, that's very good. That's the correct answer. As an yes, Pilza, yes. So yes, you will go with the option B. So which conflict management technique is explained in B? We have avoid, smooth, compromise, force, collaborate. Which conflict technique you have used in B? Which conflict management technique is being used? Exactly, collaborate. So look, if you will study like this, you can recall the information more faster and it can be easily remembered. But if you are just guessing and hunching, it's difficult. A customer reviewed the plan for a project with high uncertainty. The customer expressed concern about the work requiring so many iterations with the risk of not reaching the mandatory delivery date. Which approach should the project manager use in this situation? Ask the team members to, no, this is not. This is, I think, copy paste from the previous. High uncertainty. So we use agile approach, Kanban approach, predictive approach, or hybrid approach. Okay, you guys are answering. Thank you very much. Agile project management have this. Do we have project management plan in Agile? Yes or no? There are two answers. You guys keep going for the options. In Agile, we don't have a plan. So it means we have a plan and we have what? High uncertainty, right? We have a plan and we have high uncertainty. So it cannot be predictive. It cannot be Agile. And because we have something called as iteration. So once we have iteration, it cannot be Kanban, right? Because in Kanban, we don't have iterations, if you remember from my explanations. So ultimate answer is D. So you have verified your answer by all ways. You have eliminated every wrong answer with the correct explanations. Because of the plan, we don't have it in Agile. Because of the high uncertainty, we do it in Agile. And because of iteration, this is what? Agile. So it cannot be Kanban because in Kanban, no iterations, right? So please read carefully and answer carefully. And ultimately, you will find the answer. So just keep focusing. Next, a team member just informed the PM that the license for the software the team uses to perform calculations has just expired. Wait. It's impediment, obstacle, or blocker. impediment, obstacle, or blocker. What I told you, if it is external dependency or contract-based dependency, then it's a blocker. Now find the answer. Ask the team member to find an alternative way to perform calculations. Ask the team to fast track the project. Fast track the project. It has no connection with the question. Meet with the IT team to evaluate how fast the software license can be renewed, or issue a formal complaint to the sponsor. You guys already know the answer, right? I don't need to tell you the answer. That's correct. That's a very logical answer. You can easily understand. So if look, I keep saying answer is 100% guaranteed in the question itself. If you read the question well, you already know the answer. Go and find the answer in the answers. That's it. But if you will find the answers by going through, keep repeating, you can never do that. A PM is scheduled to meet with a client for their weekly risk management meeting. PM observed that one of the tasks which had external dependencies is delayed by 1 week. The PM knows this will have an impact, but does not know the exact details. So we have what? Known risk, right? But unknown impact, isn't it? Known risk, but unknown impact. So if you know this, you can find the answer. What two things should the project manager do? Choose two correct answers. Discuss the issue with the external suppliers authority. Wait for the client to rate. Always remember this type of answer, wait, will never be the correct answer. You have to decide. You cannot wait. Wait are not the good options. So this is out of the league. Review the lesson learned from the similar past projects. Update the risk log and bring up in the meeting with the client. Gather additional information and estimate the impact. Look, we review the lesson learned when we are at the planning stage, right? Yes or no? We review the register when we are planning the risk, not at the time of execution. So C is out of the league. And because it's a risk, right? Known risk, I already write it. Known risk, unknown impact. So it cannot be the issue. So ultimately answers are D and E. So we are left over with the D and E only. Great. A PM manages a project. What's the project? That's not your problem. I told you before. PM has received a major change from a regulatory stakeholder to add one branch. I don't care. The PM prepared a change request, which was reviewed and accepted by the change control board. When the change request is approved, what do you have to do? It's approved now. What you will do? We notify the stakeholders, not the project team only, right? We notify the stakeholders about the change request approval. So A cannot be the answer. Communicate the decisions to the stakeholders who requested the change. You guys are answering what? Does the question say the project manager has evaluated the change? It just came as a compliance requirement, and project manager submitted that they are asking us to do that. Surely, change control board will approve it, but there is no impact analysis. So first you have to do the impact analysis, and then you have to find out which baselines will be required to update, and then those baselines will be updated. So if it is not mentioned that you have to evaluate or you did not evaluate, so it means there is an answer. If it is waiting for you, then you have to choose the answer evaluate, because it just says that someone has submitted the regulatory requirement change request and you submit it to the change control board. Approved, rejected, deferred, you have to communicate to the stakeholders. But impact assessment for the change request will always be done if it requires baseline updates. So in this category, B is actually the correct answer. And I think this is the lesson learned for you guys because you have learned it first time or as a trick. So this is the trick which you have to remember. Include a new branch, you can do that, but after the impact analysis, not directly. Let's say it as the last question for today. A team has developed and tested new software to control something. There are several regulatory requirements that must be met. What should the project manager do to meet these requirements? Measure the extent to which the project complies with the regulations. Determine potential threats regarding compliance with the regulations. Ask HR to assign a compliance specialist to the team. Validate a software is compliant with the standard and regulations. What you will do to understand the compliance requirement. This is incorrect answer. And this is incorrect answer, right? Remaining answers are B and D. So if you are not, look, if you are not selecting A, what I told you, if you find similar meanings word or similar meaning situation, they will never be the correct answer. So when you guys are not selecting A, then why you guys are selecting D? They have the same meanings. Measure the extent to which the project complies with the regulation or validate the software is complying with standard and regulations. They are asking what project manager will do. So this is the task of QA. This is the task of QC. And this is the task of PMO. So the only answer which is remaining, this is the task of project manager. Determine the potential threat related to the compliance. Things are getting heated, right? You are learning something new which you have not learned before. So in this condition, B is actually the correct answer. Great. We are almost on time. Thank you very much for attending. And I'll see you tomorrow with the